All right, all right, all right. So again, hey, listen, guys, I'm super excited. Here I am today, another interview with a young lady who I'm super excited about and have the privilege of knowing for a few years now. And of course, I've known her to be nothing but successful. And so let me introduce myself. This is the Relentless Podcast, the Relentless Movers Podcast. And of course, my name is Takoya Carlton, your host, and it goes with the avocado toast, as one of my business partners would say. But again, listen, guys. I help struggling entrepreneurs and individuals by creating tools and a custom roadmap to gain more clarity and achieve real-time success. And so let's get right into it. Of course, I have known this young lady, as I said before, a few years. And again, she's worked with people in her community, local community, but she's also worked with people on higher levels, people with aspirations to go to the highest level in this country, which is the president. Which she was actually helping with fundraising and things of that nature. So we'll talk about that too as well. But again, real quick, Kimberli Greene, how are you doing tonight?
I'm great. How are you? Thank you so much for having me. And thanks for
I'm
calling
super
me young.
fantastic. What's that?
Thank you for calling me young.
Absolutely. We all young, right? But listen, I just want to really just kind of give you a chance to introduce yourself. And of course, as I always say, let's go back. And of course, talk to us about who you are, where do you come from, what's your background, and then we'll go from there.
Well, in a nutshell, born in New York, raised in Atlanta, Georgia. Happy to still be here where it's warm. Thank goodness. I did travel a bit, lived in Chicago for a little while as well, came back to the warmth. It's good to be warm, y'all, especially when you get young. It's good to be warm. And let's see, what have I done? I've been in banking, retail. I'm an event planner by passion. That's one of my passions. What else? But nonprofit management, work in the political scene, serial entrepreneur. I mean, the list goes on.
Good stuff. And so if you don't mind me, kind of digging a little bit real quick, because obviously you've worn a lot of hats. And so I want to kind of ask you, how did you get involved in that? Because I know it just didn't happen overnight. So what came about in your life that says, you know what, I want to be an entrepreneur? Because obviously being a serial entrepreneur, that means you've tried a lot of different things. And of course, you're sold out when it comes to being a business owner. So talk to me from that aspect of how did you get involved in entrepreneurship?
The really funny thing about it is I didn't realize how young that was sparked in me until I was talking with someone about banking. And I remembered that I actually participated in junior achievement when I was about 7 years old. Junior achievement taught me and the rest of the classmates to do direct sales. So
Wow.
that's when it started. And we went out and we had to think about a business plan, think about our approach, think about which product we wanted to market. We did a first aid kit and they, coached us along, and that's what we did.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So this happened when you were in school. And so what perpetuated it to continue as you got older? What flame grew in you to say, you know what, I want to be an entrepreneur? And what was your first actual real live business?
Good questions. For me wanting to continue on in the entrepreneurial vein, it seemed like there were businesses out there that belonged to someone else. And obviously, yes, we know that that's the case. But what I'm saying is, it wasn't my dream. It wasn't what I wanted to see happen or what I felt was the purpose for me to make happen. And so I looked at companies, I looked at different projects that were going on and wondered how people got started, what they did. And I was blessed to actually come from a bit of a lineage of entrepreneurs. My grandmother was the first Black limousine owner in Brooklyn, New York.
Mm.
And she also owned a grocery store. And we had a dry cleaners in the family as well. A couple of other things, a card store, I mean, you name it. And hat maker also. I mean, there's a few
So
of
it was
us.
all
But
around you.
Yeah, yeah, it really always was. And so then for my path, when I started working, and I was fortunate to actually do some internships at major companies. I was at a magazine when I was about 15 years old, 14, 15, somewhere in there. I got to see how corporations worked and figure out what I liked and what I didn't like. And I can tell you what I didn't like was being told, you can't go on break right now. That didn't work for me ever. You know, if I needed to use the restroom, I had to strategically do it according, no, just if I got to go, I want to go. So I
Right.
knew that I needed to have more freedom. And that meant putting myself in a position or being blessed to be in a position to have my own business, small business to medium business to scaling larger. And then, life happens. So,
Right. So let's talk about life happened. What happened with this life thing since you brought it up? You know, we don't keep any secrets over here. So what happened?
no, don't have to keep secrets, but I'm not gonna put it all on the sleeve either. But I've been blessed to, and I still am that business partner, that co-owner of a particular company that ended up having some life trials and tribulations. We had individuals in key positions that did not do what we needed them to do according to the company and the policies that we set forth. And so we had to go on hiatus. And that's, where that part is. But I always keep my hands busy. I
Right.
still, I look at things again. It's life. Life happens. You can't let things, trip you up or keep you down.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you started this business. You had some issues happen. And of course, you were dealt a hand that you had to deal with. And so I know for most business owners and people who own businesses, when that thing does happen, when they're out building, their business and that adversity that really just pops up, some people fold, but some people get stronger and come back even harder. So it sounds like that was you. So real quick, if you can just kind of, talk to us about your entrepreneurship, because, I know you got, t-shirt business. I know you help, with your local community. I know you help with politicians, and we'll get to that in a minute. But talk to me from your perspective of, again, how are you able to manage all these different things and all these different things that most people would say a career in this area would be it. Another person would say a career in this area would be it. But you've been in different areas, different industries, and found success in all of them. So talk to me about that. How did you develop that skin, that toughness to really just keep it going? And then also, what are some of the businesses that you have ran and over the years?
Mm-hmm. Sure thing. First and foremost, it's my faith. It's my faith. It's my faith in the creator. It's my faith. You might call him creator. You might call him Abba. You might call him Allah. I call him God. I call him daddy. I call him, hey, what's going on? Because I talk to him just like he's right here. But it's my faith. And not just that, but because I believe that he's given me a purpose. Everyone can't do multiple things. That's okay. There are some of us who are destined to do multiple things because of what he needs in this earth. And developing a tough skin, I really didn't have a choice. When I was in school, I was the tallest girl. And I don't want to get too much off into our cultural inner issues, but there was definitely slights against me for who I am, my having green eyes, my speaking properly, those type of things coming up. And so I learned early on to develop a tough skin. So if I have something that I need to do that I feel God has given me to do, that I can see and believe will not harm people but bring good, then I have to do it. And I have to do it to the best of his ability through me. And that's what keeps me going.
That's incredible. It's a good answer. And you're absolutely right. Because at the end of the day, at the end of the night, when it's just you in that room, that's all you can call. That's the only person you can call on. So real quick, if you don't mind, I'm going to take it back to where we first met. I was introduced to you. I don't even remember who introduced us, to be honest with you. I can't even remember who it was. But I was introduced to you. I'm sorry, who?
Queenie Davis.
Okay. So, so basically we were introduced, and at that time you were actually working in the political sector, right? You were
Yes.
helping a young man who was in pursuit of running for president.
Yes.
And of course, he actually tagged you on the shoulder to go out and, you know, be the person who was in charge, I guess, of the street team or marketing across the country, not just in Chicago, but all over the country. And you were actually putting all this together. You were building a network. So talk to us about, how did you get involved into political space? And then how did you get connected to someone who was running for president?
Well, wow. So when you and I met, and I'll take it back a little from there too, but when you and I met, that particular individual, yes, was running for president on the independent ticket. Okay. And I was given the purpose of coordinating the national canvassing effort. So that's what I was doing. My title was the National Canvassing Director. And that's how we met. So yeah, it was national. Yes, yes. And challenging and wonderful. And I can't say scary because nothing really scares me, but exciting, you know, to do. Sometimes a little more challenging than I wanted to coordinate, but still fun. The unfortunate thing is, which happens in politics, you know, we weren't able to press forward as far as we wanted to. But I always look back fondly on that time. I met incredible people, yourself and others. And, you know, it's part of my history and part of the United States history. And it's a blessing. And so I came to that by way of a business partner that I still have, who was also partners with me in that company that I mentioned a moment ago. And he actually was a major participant and creator of Rock the Vote. So he's had his hand in and out of politics for years. Prior to that, because I was actually in Georgia when I started coordinating as National Canvassing Director. But prior to that, when I was living in Chicago, I did volunteer work for several aldermen in the city, and then also for state senator at the time, and then U.S. Senator, and then President Barack Obama.
Nice. Okay. I'm sorry. Let me do it for you.
No, it's a blessing. It was a blessing.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, it's so crazy because they always talk about your, 6 degrees between separation, right? You know, and it's so crazy that we were able to meet in that situation, right? To where we would have never met, but because of networking, because of a community of people who are able to reach out and talk to each other, it was able to bring people like you and I together that would have never met, because again, I had no clue who you were. Right. And until I was introduced to you, then quickly I found out that you were someone to be reckoned with, because you were doing a big job. You were putting a lot of stuff together, a lot of people. I mean, arranging hotels. I mean, there was a lot of stuff going on. Absolutely. Right? Moving people around, marketplaces, all that stuff. And so just, again, congratulations on everything that you've done. But let's just talk and move forward a little bit here. So if you can, just tell us about what you're doing now. Like how are you building? What are you building now? And then, of course, how are you doing that?
One of the things that I'm doing right now that's a passion for me, as well as a mission, I believe, is helping people restore their credit, get back to financial literacy, regain the hope and the measure of implementation of wealth building, home ownership and wealth building for themselves, their families, their children, their children's children. And it was really pressed upon me to do as much as I could last year when we, of course, encountered the onset of the pandemic. I spent the first few months, like I'm sure everyone else, trying to hold on to anything we could grab to steady ourselves, trying to figure out what was really going on, where we fit in it, if it was going to stay or go away, what it really was, trying to discern what we were hearing from the presidential administration at the time, uh, comparing that to whatever bits of science we could get, so on and so forth, and figure out, uh, what that meant for us as people, as individuals, as heads of household, what it really meant. And what I noticed toward the middle of the year is that people were still stuck. And that was a problem for me, especially knowing that we had such a unique opportunity where we didn't have the other distractions of life, though the pandemic is a big distraction, don't misunderstand me, and something that we have to deal with. But we didn't have the other everyday ins and outs, got to get to work, got to get up, got to get, those type of things that keep us from paying attention to the things that we want to pay attention to, that we want to improve, that we always say, I'll get to that later because we've got to get to work. I'll get to that later because we've got to get the kids ready. I'll get to that later because, and so it started for me then. And I'm like, wait, we've got to really take advantage right now. This is a great time to sit down, to understand credit, to understand how to use it, to understand, what the inner workings are of it. And, for as much as you want, you might want to know a little, you might want to know a lot, but this is a great time to get your credit together so that when we do really emerge from the pandemic, because we're not emerging, and that's my personal opinion. I'm not a doctor yet, but we are going to, at one point, emerge from this. Let's be ready. Let's be ready to take advantage of what's going on. Let's be ready to buy those houses and, buy land and buy commercial property and maybe do something for someone else. We're still going to have now a new subsector population that's being displaced. They're going to need somewhere to stay. And what are we going to do as people who are now able to assist them? We need to think about that. We need to know what to do.
Yeah, and I totally agree. I mean, having good credit is the difference between getting the house, getting the job, right? Getting the increases that you're looking for. But because of lack of credit and lack of knowledge, right? Lack of, for the best way to say it, just lack of not being a good steward of your credit. This was a time for people to get on point. Right? Last year was a time to say, hey, listen, the world slowed down. And what it did was it gave us a time, that we can actually say, okay, what was that thing that I wanted to do? Right? What was the passion? Right? That's where I think a lot of people really who are still struggling with what to do and how to move forward is because they didn't take the time. They didn't take the time to really say, hey, listen, you know what? I've always wanted to do this. I've always wanted to go back to school. But guess what? Last year was an incredible time to go back to school.
Yes.
You had all the time in the world, and the government was paying you money every month. Right? But some folks use that money for things that didn't make any sense. Didn't help their credit, didn't help their financial situation, didn't make any investments, right? Have nothing to show for all that money that was shuffled around. Billions of dollars was shuffled around last year that a lot of people didn't take advantage of. And of course, having good credit right now, that's one of the things I'm working for. I'm working on my business right now to build up my business credit. So of course, when I go to the bank and I want that $100,000, because, to do some stuff, I want to be able to walk in there with confidence. And so it's so important to have people like yourself who are educating people on, the power of good credit, not just having money, but the power of having good credit. What it can do for you, how it can change your life.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, people are not even getting jobs now because their credit's no good.
That's right. That's right. And a lot of people, I don't know who still doesn't know that credit reports are being pulled for regular jobs. This way, bunny ears, regular jobs, but yeah, that's the case. And, this is the time to not let that keep sideswiping you. Don't keep putting yourself in situations to be turned down. Don't keep putting yourself in situations, to be surprised by a no when you have an avenue to a yes. I don't want to be told no. I don't, that's like going to the club and being molded at the door. We're not doing that. If I'm at the door, I expect to get in. Don't tell me no. And so if I'm applying for a job, let's not let credit say no.
That's right.
They don't care that maybe your credit is bad because you didn't have the job or the amount of money that you really needed for your life. It doesn't matter. They don't care. They just want a particular credit score. No one's there to hear your story. They don't care. So you care for you. Take the time now to care. Get your credit together so that you don't have to hear no. Get your credit together so that you're able to buy a home. There are very few people on the planet who can walk up and say, I want that house, and pay cash for it. And there's still a paper trail. There's still a looking into the background. There's still a verification that has to be done. So credit is important. Cash is king, but credit is power.
Absolutely. So here's the thing. Let me go ahead and get your website real quick, because I'm going to put it on banner. So that way, if someone wants to get in contact with you and they're looking to build their credit, maybe they're looking to purchase their first home, or maybe they're trying to, get a better car, or, whatever have you. Maybe they want that good job. They want to get that upgrade in status in life. Again, what's the website? You can kind of what is the website, so that way I can type it in real quick and let our viewers know what the website is.
Sure. So for those things, the best way to reach me is financialhealthgoodies.com. That'll take you directly to the website that speaks about the credit restoration product that we have available, and that's our flagship product, as well as other things that are built into building your financial literacy.
You said financial goodies?
Financialhealthgoodies.com.
See, now you're making me have to spell, and I can't spell.
No worries. No worries.
You know what? I'm going to let you type it in. You get a chance.
No problem. I will do that. Let me see. Let me get back over here.
Yeah, but again, as you do that, I'm just going to really just thank everyone for listening. And listen, if you're watching this right now live, just put in the comments section, put live. If you're watching this on a replay, put in the comment section replay. And of course, if you got any value, see guys, sometimes we look at value as something that, again, someone's teaching me something, right? Someone's educating me on something. If you notice, we've just been talking, right? But in us talking, there were some examples that, you can utilize in your life to help you to, take the right steps to get to where you're trying to go to. So again, you may say, well, I've been trying to do this, and that, and then you'll go back to a certain section within this conversation. You'll go back to this conversation, and of course, you'll say, you know what? I like the fact that he said this, and when she said this, that hit home. Mm-hmm. Right? I went through something like that, and because I went through something like that, now I'm much better because I've learned from it. See, guys, mistakes are okay. When things don't work in your life, those things are great. Why? Because they're educating you. They're teaching you. And that's what she was saying. She's been through a lot, guys. And because she has that thick rhinoceros skin, and of course, she developed that as a young girl because the girls was hating because she was beautiful. She had green eyes. Thank you. Right? And they were like, girl, what you doing with green eyes? Right? And so anyway, the whole thing was she went through a lot of adversity as a young person. So again, it already toughened her up to better take the little simple things that we deal with as adults and just brush them off. And so some of us on here really just need to understand a lot of the things that we're going through aren't really as serious as we think they are. They are. So again, here's the way you do that. If you're going through something right now and you just don't know how you're going to get out of it, literally you're staying up late at night, you're waking up early in the morning, and you can't figure out what to do. Guys, simply take the time to sit down and write down exactly what's going on in your life right now. Write down the circumstances that you're in right now. And as you start to write it down, you'll actually start to open up things in your mind that you never thought about Why? Because you were looking at it from the eyes point of view. But when you write it down, you're able to kind of not just see it, but again, you're able to say, you know what? That makes total sense. Or you'll start opening up those different channels and say, you know what? Maybe if I do it this way, or I never thought of it that way. See, things will start happening for you. Mm-hmm. So here's the thing, guys. There's your website, financialhealthgoodies.com. And of course, that's for that person who says, you know what, I want to work on my credit. And of course, I need someone who can help me do that. She can help you do that. So Ms. Kimberli Greene, listen, here's the thing. We're going to go ahead and end it right here. We're right at almost 30 minutes going. And so I like to kind of leave it with you. If you can kind of give us some last remarks, something that's on your heart, something that could take people off tonight and say, you know what, she's right. Or, you know what, makes sense. Or, you know what, I need to do what she just said. So let me go ahead and send it over to you.
Well, thank you very much. And thank you again for all of your kind words and your wisdom. I really appreciate who you are. You know, you've touched a lot of people, and I know that you'll continue to do so. For everyone who's listening, last words, you know, it's really not about me sitting here talking. It's not about him sitting here talking. It's about what we're saying that is actually connecting with you and what you've already been told, what you already know internally. Those things that maybe you've put off, that you don't need to put off anymore. And it doesn't have to be a negative. It can be a positive. You know, I'm very guilty of supposing to have written a book already. So I've got that I've got to do as well. It might be something as simple as that. And if you just quiet yourself, honor the fact that this is the time set aside for you to do that thing, whatever that is, you'll find that it comes really easily. Take this time. Take this time right now. There's no other time like this. You know, we've already had a year. We're seeing new changes happen, you know, but we're still a little quiet. Use that quiet to your advantage right now. Get those things done so that you'll emerge from this a better you for yourself and for your family and for your community.
Good stuff. Good stuff. And I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
You're doing some amazing things, and I can't wait to see what happens. And of course, revisit this conversation a year from now or 6 months from now. But again, guys, yes. So again, if you're listening to this, guys, go ahead and if you're on live, put in live in the comment section. If you're listening on a replay, just put in replay. But again, guys, if you're interested in fixing your credit, you're interested in getting, you know, some things off your credit, or you're interested in, you know, again, it's, you know, maybe you need to just get consultation on purchasing a home, or maybe you just, you know, just want to kind of just get financial help some kind of way. Again, reach out to Kimberli Greene, and that's the website that you can actually go to. And just for the people who are listening in, go to financialhealthgoodies.com. Again, financialhealthgoodies.com. And so real quick, let me go ahead and end it with this, guys. Again, I appreciate you all for listening. It's always a pleasant pleasure to have everyone on this live Relentless Movers podcast and listening in, because again, without you, we have nothing. Without you guys, we're not building anything, because again, we believe in helping people. We believe in blessing people. We believe in pushing people up and helping people to get to that level that they're looking for. And of course, if that's what you're looking for, you're looking to acquire success, guys, this is where you go. You go to Relentless Movers podcast. You go to Relentless Movers, and you can reach out to people like myself, to Coy Carlton, and of course, all our different speakers that we bring on from week to week, guys. We're going to have some amazing people speaking to you and giving you nothing but great value. We got on board coming up Mark A. Jackson. This gentleman right here is phenomenal. He's amazing at what he does. He's building teams all across the world. And of course, he's making a high six-figure income doing it. So again, guys, we're looking forward to him coming up in the next coming week. But again, listen, it's been a pleasant pleasure, guys. And of course, this is how we ended. Relentless Movers, who are we? We help struggling entrepreneurs and individuals by creating tools and a custom roadmap to gain more clarity and achieve real-time success. So with that, it's been a pleasant pleasure. And I look forward to seeing you guys at the top, from the top, over the top. Take care, take charge, and we'll talk to you soon.